This might be the strangest iPad case that I have reviewed yet, but that's exactly why I had to try it. It folds up like origami, floats your iPad off your desk, and claims to be the lightest floating workstation out there. Hey there everyone, my name's Mark the Spark. Welcome back to the channel, and I'm very fortunate to have had MOFT send me out their dynamic Folio. See, I use my iPad for absolutely everything. Writing, video editing, content creation, pretty much everything. So I'm curious as to whether this case will actually improve my productivity, how I work, or whether it's just a strange looking but very neat gimmick. But first, before I do all that, let me show you the unboxing. All right, let's get these things unboxed. We've got the quick release Apple pencil holder. Look forward to exploring that. And then the main event, the dynamic Folio here. So, as I've always said about any company that packages their stuff well, which this is packaged well, it's presented well, you're generally going to end up with a good product inside. Not always, but quite often. Okay. And we've got a little thing here that says work, create, anywhere. All right, okay. Oh, that's a lovely blue colour. Here we are. Anything else in the box? Nothing else in the box. I do like the look of that. You've got QR code here to scan for a tutorial. Match these icons to unlock 20 plus angles. Oh my goodness. Find two circle, explore two lines, lift the small square. So they're definitely not leaving anything to chance here. Whoa. Maybe I'm just a sucker for pop-up books. To try to change, to experience more. Unfold boldness. It's giving you lots of different ways in which we can fold this origami type experience and get our case working as they should, and more ideal angles to be discovered. A really nice piece of kit. Okay, we'll just put that to one side and take out the Apple pencil holder. Do we have a nice unboxing experience like we did with that? Okay, just, no, we haven't got any ripping on this one. Just pull on this here and it just comes out. There we go. So we've got a ruler here, and then obviously a bit for the pencil, like so here. We'll explore it again in a bit. Again, this phrase here, work, create, anywhere. Lovely, anything in here. For MOFT Folio, yeah, it gives us some instructions there. Okay, so not much more in the box, but two pieces of kit that we're now going to dive straight into. Okay, so before we get into all the clever bits, the folding and everything else, a little bit of context. I genuinely do use my iPad Pro every single day. It really is my main computer, and it's been my main computer since like about 3 models ago. I do write scripts on it. I definitely edit my videos on here. I read on it, and I do graphic design stuff to the best of my ability. Basically, I organize my life on this thing, and it is a productive device for me. So I'm always on the lookout for accessories that are light, they don't get in the way, and actually genuinely make things easier for me. First thing we're going to ask is, who are MOFT? If you've never heard of them, MOFT stands for Mobile Office for Travelers, and they've got a bit of a reputation now for making these origami style stuff that's meant to be super light, practical, and ideal for someone who quite often work away from home, maybe an odd coffee shop here or there, maybe even on the train, or in my case, quite a lot of the time, a busy kitchen table with 2 dogs underneath it. MOFT's pitch with this Folio is that it turns your iPad into that aforementioned floating creativity workstation. That sounds quite dramatic and quite a bold claim, but let me show you what that means. But first off, let's compare it to my iPad here in the Magic Keyboard case. Now if I do that, set this up, I'm pretty sure you can immediately see the difference in height. The MOFT lifts the screen up a good few inches more. It makes a big difference to your posture. You're kind of not leaning over as much, so less neck cranking. And I don't think you actually realize how low the iPad sits on this thing until you see it next to something like this. So with that in mind, let me grab the instructions that you saw in the unboxing, and we'll try and turn this thing into some of the major angles and shapes and what have you that they have put in the middle of their very detailed instruction book. So the first thing you can see is we've already done theatre mode. You can see it on the overhead camera here. Theatre mode number 1, which it can do two things. It can present your iPad like that, or maybe if you're sitting across from somebody and you've doodled something down on your iPad and you want to show them, you just simply flip it over like that. Okay, this one they call their dialogue mode, and I can see the connection there with doing stuff and then showing the person opposite. But I think this works really well for somebody like me that lifts it up off the table, but to write quite happily at a good angle. Because your wrist is up like that and not kind of down like that or even like that, it makes it extremely comfortable to write on, and your palm rests really nicely at a good angle on it. I think it'd be a bit kind of weird and wonderful to kind of rest on, but it's really, really solid. I'm impressed with this. Okay, what other shapes can we do? And what's really useful about this, for the main angles, you can just follow the dots and you can connect up the lines, and it almost intuitively takes you to the next position. So this one is what they're calling the creative mode. So a little bit like what we just had before. It's at a good angle. It's a bit lower down now. But what's really cool about this is you can put your phone just here and use it as a reference. Now, unfortunately, I record from my phone here and here. So I'll insert some shots where you can see the phone in place there, and you can see how easy it is just to have that as your reference and then to be copying or drawing or taking notes from what you're seeing. Maybe you're watching a video on the smaller screen and you're taking notes from that video as you go along. Really good and really intuitive, I think. And again, you got that little symbol of a phone to show you your phone goes there. And finally, the last major one is something they call the browsing mode, and it's easy to see why. You simply put it down flat there, lift the flap up, tuck this under there, magnetically attaches itself, and we stand it up like that. So there we go, and you can just browse, you can read. So it's at the portrait angle, so you can do what you need to do. And what's great about this is there's so many other angles you can do things on. Again, you can even have it at that angle as well, but this one is predominantly designed for you to do that. But there's so many different ways to use this thing, and like it says on this little instruction here, there's more on the back. So if we look on the back, there are so many more angles you can explore with the MOFT Dynamic Folio. Really good. By the way, let's just talk about the build of this thing. It really is light. It doesn't add much to the iPad, which is what I am after. It feels really nice, and it's made from this mix apparently of fiberglass and vegan leather, something they call Movas. and it just feels so nice. It's soft, but it's definitely kind of durable as well. It's really going to take some knocks before it starts getting itself marked up, and it certainly doesn't leave fingerprints, unlike some other cases I might mention. Get a few sweaty fingers on this, and you've got to be cleaning it all the time. In fact, you can probably see I've got quite a bit of gunk on here which I would need to wipe off. But it also comes with that clever modular pencil holder, this thing just here. There we are. It's got a little ruler on it, and a section for your pencil here, and how you connect this to here is very, very easy indeed. It shows you exactly where to put it. This thing's not that complicated, really. You bob that in there, you put your iPad in there, it kind of nicely traps that, so it's not going to come out, it's not going to go anywhere, and it keeps your Apple Pencil securely in place, exactly where it needs to be. And there's a little section there for you to pop it out, so you're not messing around trying to fiddle with it either end. And obviously, because it's right here, it's magnetically charging it exactly where it should do. I appreciate the attention to detail, and let's give it a bit of a shake now just to see how. Oh yeah, that's not going to come off. And this is my main computing device, by the way. I'm trusting this. Yeah, that ain't going to come out, and that pencil stays in place and the iPad stays in place. Really nice combo of devices. Now, who's it for? Well, honestly, if you're the kind of person who does use their iPad as a proper work device, a proper productivity tool, that's writing, designing, editing, reading important stuff, this really does make sense. It gives you quite a lot of flexibility without adding any bulk, really. Now, if you compare that to the Magic Keyboard, which I will be honest, I do use this for editing as well, with all the shortcuts on the keyboard. It does add a hefty weight to your once upon a time magically light iPad that you had in your hands. And obviously I have to do that because there's still some weight on the iPad, and they need to be able to weight it down here so you're not tipping forward. And this iteration of the Apple Magic Keyboard case is a lot better than the first generation, so you're not going to get much movement on there whatsoever. But it adds bulk. It takes something that was lovely and svelte and nice, and it adds quite a bit to it. Whereas the Folio case here, you can take this off, pop it on here, and that is nothing at all. That is just so nice. I love this colour as well, really good, and just feels so nice in the hand. And again, so easy just to put those two dots together there and make it into your floating screen. And what would be quite cool as well with this, it's a keyboard and a trackpad. I could very easily use this for my editing, video editing as well, and it's up that little bit higher, enabling me to do all that I need to do at a really good height. So I suspect I'll probably be using my iPad case a little bit less and using this a little bit more. Now, if you only use your iPad to scroll through social media or chuck it on YouTube every now and again while you're cooking or something like that, then something like this is probably overkill. But to reiterate, if the iPad is your daily driver, it's definitely worth a look. It's clearly designed with iPad users in mind, not just to look clever, but to use properly and to be useful every single day. It isn't going to be for everyone, absolutely, but if you do use your iPad the way that I do, then this thing genuinely will make a difference. Now, at the moment it's available on Kickstarter, and there'll be a link in the description below. And also scan this QR code if you're watching this video on your big telly, and that'll take you to the Kickstarter page and give you the relevant options and pledges that you might want to make. If you found another case or setup that works for you, then please let me know in the comments. I'm always up for hearing how other people use their iPads. And talking of other iPad cases, I have done a few more videos, so maybe you might like this video here and go explore what else might be available on the market. Thanks for watching. Please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if this video has been helpful to you, especially if you want no nonsense tech stuff like this.